Welcome to Wealth Coffee Chats, folks, for your daily live updates. Get the most out of today's episode by participating in the chat. Make sure you ask some questions, be part of the conversation, have a bit of fun, grab a coffee or a tea, take some notes, and get ready to start your day, folks. Quick few housekeeping rules, though. No spamming, no advertising or self-promotion in the chat. That's not on. Be kind and respectful to everyone when participating. And most of all, have a good time. Real estate investing can be your biggest asset. It also can be your most expensive asset when it comes to getting it right or getting it wrong, folks. It can be time-consuming, stressful, and that's why here at Positive, we have what's called a 6-star team, a full-service team that provides integrated wealth and property investing solutions and services simply designed to help you progress towards your goal of passive income through your property portfolio, folks. Make sure you check out our other podcasts on the Positive Mentor Network. Not only is there Wealth Coffee Chats, there's the Urban Property Investor. Drops every Wednesday with straight talking investing strategies and lessons with Sam Saggers. Property Investor Tales. This is where our clients, you guys, share real life stories from property investing, hosted by some of our advisors and strategists. And that's done every fortnight, dropping every Monday. Wealth, Wine and Wisdom, folks, that debriefs the week that was in the world of finance and property, hosted by yours truly, Jason Witten and Andy Fenton on Fridays. Welcome to another Wealth Coffee Chat. Marvellous Monday. Hope you're well, folks, wherever you are. If you think it's Get Rich Quick, you're in the wrong place. This is the wrong podcast. This is the wrong life for you. Welcome to another Wealth Coffee Chat. Hope you're all awesome and well. Hello. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Wealth Coffee Chats. Hope you're well, folks, wherever you are. What's going on out there? It's a bit chilly here in southeast Queensland, in the GC, but might be a bit warmer or colder wherever you are. Good to see a few of you on already, which is fantastic, as always. Welcome to the show, folks. If you're a regular, welcome back. Awesome. If you're new, well, hello. Fantastic to have you here. Thanks for joining. You might be one of our new clients. That's fantastic. We've got plenty of people wanting to build their property portfolios, so welcome. You're in the right place. If you aren't a client yet, well, you should be. If you need a coach, if you need someone to help you build your portfolio over the next 7 to 10 years and make sure you do it right so you create wealth that you want, then, hey, we can help you with that. So let us know. But anyway, there you go. I hope you're well. Good to see one or two of you here. Jason Witten's my name. If you didn't already know that, most of you do, though. But give us a shout out in the chat. Say hello, like some of the regular crew, like Chris. Morning, Chris. And Luke's here as well today. Great to see you. Luke, Alex. We've got Jeff. Brendan. Already at it, mate. So good to see. Doing the do. That's great, mate. Well, folks, thanks for joining. Welcome to the show where we get together each morning weekday for about 15 to 20 minutes. Just have a conversation, a pontification, a chat about property investing over a coffee. And the idea is to sort of stay on track. You know, this thing called property investing takes a little bit of discipline. It takes a little bit of grit and determination. It's not that difficult to do or to comprehend, but it does, surprisingly, it does take more than you think. But anyway, that's the conversation. We connect each day. We try and stay on track. We try and sort out the rubbish and the rhetoric from the facts and make good decisions as property investors. And today I wanted to talk to you about decisions or a thought about what is going on out there. Now, the big story in my playbook and yours, if you're paying attention, is the supply chain issue in the world of property investing and the pressure that's putting on our marketplace. Now, we've been talking about forever. We've been collecting data, but the UDIA just released a pretty significant report about that, which is really just confirmed and actually looks worse than I than we were talking about. But anyway, we'll talk about that a little bit later on. But that's the conversation today about, the stats are down. There's 50% less or 50% long-term decade delivery mechanisms just absolutely not happening out there in the world of property. And what's that mean to us as investors, and what are we going to do about it? What can we do about it? But anyway, let's talk about this morning, a conversation about what's going on and trying to get our heads around it. And I'll share some data and statistics with you as we go along this morning. So that's what we're going to have a chat about. Welcome to the show. Good to see a few of the rest of you joining and getting on, which is awesome, which is Bunty, Kev. Good to see you all the way from Florida. But anyway, let's get on with it. All right. So there's three types of properties that that residential bits of real estate. Now, there might be some, a few tweaks to these types of things, but chuck it in the chat, folks. Hey, Amor, great to see you. Chris, it's a bit of a shame that it didn't work out for people, but if it goes well this year, the summit, we'll continue to put the dates in, and we'll put it a year in advance, and people can get themselves organized. All right, tell me in the chat, folks, three types of properties that we can invest in. Residential, it's not a trick question. It's pretty straightforward, but the styles of properties, all right? When it comes to the world of investing, there's really three types, and there might be some subtypes of it, but just put it in the chat. What are they? Get involved if you're sitting there this morning and you're having a cup of coffee and you want to interact. That's great. Now, for some of you, you might be in some of the other live streams. And if you are, and you can't, if I'm not sort of saying hello to your chat, I can't see it. Facebook's done something weird. And, Facebook's done something weird and the chats aren't showing up. So they are showing up from Facebook, the Facebook positive page, and they are showing up from YouTube. But anyway, there you go. So I'm sure a few of you are chucking some answers in there. I'm always said, okay, something about commercial, but we're not going to talk about commercial in this conversation more, but that is a property type. But in the residential world, there's three types of properties you can invest in, right? So let's talk about what that looks like. Three types of properties, and we've got three drawings here, which are probably pretty average, but if you know what I mean. No, this one, unit / apartment, right? So a unit / apartment, a townhouse, or a house. Okay, these are the three styles of properties that we all have in our property portfolios: detached, townhouse, apartment. Yeah, dead right, Chris, in that sort of sense, right? So it's interesting when you think about it. All right, well, usually a unit, what's the size? And just give me some, this is funny. Give me what's the average size of a unit, folks? Let's just do average size of a unit through to a house in square meterage. And let's put this in perspective for our conversation today. This is an interesting one. Chuck that in the chat for me. So what's the size? What's the average square meter of each of these three styles of property? Okay. And you can chuck it in there. Let's just say a 2-bed unit, a 3-bed townhouse, and a 4-bed house. So yeah, you go let's call it 75 square meters for a 2-beddie. You're talking about 120. Let's call it 140. Let's be generous for a townhouse, and let's say on average, so 190 to 200 for a house. All right. So tell me, what do you think? Tell me. Right. This is 75 square meters, and this is 200 square meters. All right. Yeah, about 150, Brian. You're right. Yep. All right. That's a big unit, Brian. But depending on where you are, maybe in some places they're a bit bigger, in some places they're a bit smaller. Where you go. Nice. So tell me, what would be the cost to build a 75? Let's call it an 80 square meter unit. Round the number up. What would be the cost, like the pure cost to build that 80 square meter unit? As you go, and what's the cost of a house? Well, this is an interesting conversation, isn't it? When we have a look at these sorts of things, when you have a look at what is the average construction cost of these. Let let's go over here. I'm going to show you something actually. Construction cost of one of these types of properties, right? There we go, construction cost calculator. This is pretty interesting. So we've got some answers in here, 200, 500K, depending on what you're, yeah, exactly. Depending on what you're building, it's pretty interesting to sort of see, you know, what would be the cost of this. But let's have a look at this. The construction cost calculator for constructing a property in Australia at the moment. And I always like to use BMT. I don't know if anyone knows the BMT, website. They're quite good for depreciation and those sorts of things. So let's have a look at this. Let's have a look at, let's go and look at 3-bedroom. Let's go look at 4-bedroom, 4-bedroom, single level, 4-bedroom, single level. Yeah, let's just do 4-bedroom, single level block. Brick veneer. Let's just do that. Let's do Brisbane, 2024, square meter, 200. Right, let's have a look. Let's do this. Square meterage. What? Check it out. 500 to 685, right? Absolutely crazy. So let's just call it at the bottom end, 500,000 to build. Now, it's probably a smidgen over. We're sort of landing them at the moment for about 400, 450, good quality. But you have to drop the size, right? So you have to go 180 if you want, 460, 700. So there you go. Medium quality finish. But, we're not getting too leery here, are we, folks? So let's have a look at 2-level brick veneer townhouse. Let's go calculate. We're not going to do 180. We're going to do 140. And check that out. Let's call it 400, and then let's go, where are we here? 4 to 8 level complex, including list structure. Yeah. All right, let's do that. 8 or more level. Let's go 80 square meters. 290, let's call it 300. So it's an interesting one, isn't it? When you have a look at this costing right across the board here, and you go, all right, well, $500,000 to build a house, $400,000 for a townhouse, $300 for a unit, right? And then you go, well, okay, well, isn't this meant to be the low cost alternative? Isn't this meant to be cheaper than a house, right? So, at the end of the day, this is pretty interesting when you have a look at what's going on in the supply chain. So I wanted to lay that out this morning while we have a quick chat about, the market, because, this is 300K, that's 500K. And you think, all right, well, if I've got a budget, I'll probably be focusing on a unit. And that is true. That is true, because that's what's happening in the market. But what's going on with the supply, folks, and sort of those sorts of things. So let's have a bit of a look at that, right? So let's have a look at the UDIA report that just came out, state of land in Queensland, in the whole country. All right, this is a great report. You can track it down online. Let's have a look at what's going on and what is happening in the world of supply for all of us as investors, and understand a few things that are happening, right? So the supply of land, ladies and gents, the supply of land down in Southeast Queensland, 15, down in Sydney, 35%, down in Melbourne, 50%. Now, this is an interesting one because a lot of people are complaining about Melbourne at the moment. And yes, it's having its own issues, mostly sprung from their political moronic leadership. However, folks, when something has a challenge, it has a rebound. But anyway, Adelaide down. The only one that's up in supply is Perth, and still not enough. And then ACT, right? So, Melbourne down 50%, folks, right? As you look at the the supply chain coming through as we have a bit of a look. But listen, folks, and this is an interesting one too. Melbourne down, average cost of a piece of land. So if you were looking around right now and you go, oh, well, I've got a budget and I want to build myself a house. I want to deliver myself a house to my property portfolio, right? Then, and let's say you had like 650 or 750, where are you going to do this? Let's say, ACT, average piece of land, 600. Sydney, average piece of land, 600. Where's the two choices and where are two markets, right? So you go, right, Brisbane, if I had a piece of land for 350, I had a house for 400, 350, a house for 400, what's it look like when we land that thing? That's, 750, 800, depending on your costs, right? So 750, 800. Okay, cool. There's some challenges, whatever. Okay, where we go. Let's have a look at what's going on in the multi-unit space. This is an interesting one. The actually completions are a little bit up compared to last year. Now, that's misleading, by the way, as we look at this. That's completions. And tell me in the chat, folks, what's the time frame of a property development like a block of units? What's the time frame from start to completion? And often what's the time frame when it comes to land delivery is different. But, what's the time frame? How long these completions that are happening now, when did they start? That's the conversation, the question. Put that in the chat for me as we go along. But that's not fixing anything as we go along. The challenge we have, team, is that our completions and approvals are trending downwards, right? No matter which way. Yeah, 2 years, 3 to 5, 2 years plus, exactly, Luke. So those completions came from one of our peak times over here, which is, 2021 and 22. Those completions happened 2 years ago or 3 years ago. Not completions, the approvals as you go. Yeah, a 3-year cycle, Brian, exactly. So, what does that all mean? Well, have a look at all of this stuff. Then I'm going to skip to the bit down here, which is pretty poignant, and the point I want to make this morning for all of us as property investors. You have a look at the lot sales. So how many pieces of real estate sold? 28% down on the previous year. We're 62% down from the peak, from the number of sales in places like Perth as we go along. And if you have a look at across the board, we're 33% down. 33% down on decade averages, folks. Decade averages. And 54% peak of reduction of releases as well. So, these numbers are these numbers are crazy, team. Now I've been talking about them in general circumstances for a little while, right? I think, the market's, cactus and, things have crapped the bed and whatever. But here's the facts. This is like these guys are fantastic when they do their reports. 54% down and decreasing, right? Folks, seriously, and check this out, right? So aggregated sales in multi-unit stuff, right? 50% down on decade averages, folks, right? 50% down. Crazy, right? And even now they're using Sam's wording. Like Sam did the flight to quality branding ages ago as we go, right? So it's a pretty interesting, 40% lower than decade averages. Crazy. So, what does it all mean, team, to us as property investors? Well, let's have a bit of a look. And this is kind of like, I don't know, this is the hits. We're 40% down, 40% lower of decade averages. All markets recorded significant reductions except Perth. Well, Perth's making a comeback, right? It's got a bit of something going on. Greater Melbourne saw a 55% reduction in sales. And why is that so? Well, when something goes down and it's getting beaten up, it doesn't stay down for long. It doesn't stay down forever. And that's why I think, for many of us, Perth might be a good choice soon. Or if you're already there, a 41% drop, a 21% reduction, a 27% down, look at this, 74%, 54% down, 55% lower. Like the numbers are crazy. The numbers are crazy. Anyway, I'm just going through this report and circling things and blah, blah, blah. However, folks, if you dive into this report, it basically says, hey, the trend is down. There is no way we're going to be able to lift the trend. That means that the price of construction's quite high. It's going to stay that way. It's going to be difficult to deliver these projects. Build to rent has no chance of fixing the supply chain issue. We had a net influx of 700,000+ residents in the last 12 months. And we've had, some of the worst supply we've ever had in our market. And folks, the projects that are in the pipeline are struggling to get off the ground because they can't reach pre-sales, because, sometimes those projects are either overpaid, they don't know how to do them, whatever. Anyway, get hold of that report. It's called the UDIA Land Report 2024. And it's pretty interesting. What's the point? What's the point of this whole kind of convoluted conversation this morning? The point is, team, that there are some very well-priced real estate. And, Sam and the team have put this stuff together, but there's some very well-priced real estate, which you'll never see again. It's already been priced from 2 or 3 years ago. Plus, there's some amazing opportunities if you know what you're doing and what you're up to, if you're building your portfolio, to grab a deal in the middle of this uncertainty. The general uneducated general public think the interest rates are too high and every builder's going broke. That's what they think. What you and I know is that the interest rates will come down at some point in the next year or so. The rents are skyrocketing. The values are going to go up. And the supply chain is not going to be fixed, which keeps pressure on the marketplace. Yeah, Luke, I saw that one. Yeah. CommBank's going to take 10K deposits. It's interesting. Anyway, I'm probably rabbiting on a little bit here, but there you go. 50% down plus across the market when it comes to supply should be a really good sign for us as investors to make sure we keep our acquisition activity going. If you have to buy a few more properties, then it's not a bad time to do it. Anyway, there you go. Overtime today. Get excited about those sorts of charts and data because it really reinforces what we've been talking about for a long time. There you go, folks. Wealth Coffee Chat done and dusted. A little bit higgledy-piggledy this morning, but you get the drill. You understand what I'm saying. All right, folks, that's it. Join us tomorrow. There's Finance Fridays tomorrow. So you got Brad from Finance. He'll be on talking all things finance. So make sure you join him. That's it from me, folks. Take care. Have a good one. Yep. See you, Alex. See you, team. Bye for now. Episode of Wealth Coffee Chat, folks. Make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on your notifications so you never miss a thing when we go live. Improve your portfolio and investing game, folks, with Wealth Coffee Chats live every morning at 8:10 each weekday. Make sure you join us. Previous episodes are also available wherever you get your podcasts, folks, as well as our other podcasts from the 6 Star team here at positivementor.com.au.